Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Oversellers Review Podcast. We are here with me, Jack, also known on Twitter and YouTube as I Got Islanders. We are here also with Hunter, who is known on Twitter and YouTube as Hunter P WWE5,
Yes.
and we are here with Donovan, who is known on YouTube as El Sublime Clientele. Got it right on the first try. And we are here with we're here for Smackdown, reviewing Smackdown. And Hunter, you're gonna do the whole show, right? You're gonna recap the whole show with us, and
Yeah,
we're just
I'll
gonna give our thoughts and opinion.
Yeah, I'll give like a basis to what happened on the show.
All right. So let's get this started. Are we all ready?
Yes, we're all ready.
All right, let's go.
All right. So the Smackdown kicks off with Roman Reigns, Paul Heyman, and Jey Uso making their way down, and then they call out Adam Pearce.
Adam Pearce. Now.
Yes.
Now.
I think they did this thing where it's like he was trying to goat Adam Pearce into saying he was stupid.
They well, before that, when they had him come out, they did. I never like when they do this because it's always weird and awkward, and it doesn't seem right. What they do is that they played a promo package on the Tron, but while it was playing, they would cut back to the arena to show like Adam Pearce and Roman Reigns' reactions to it.
So he just kind of came out.
Yeah, it was like really weird. Like Roman's like, I gotta show you something, and then he showed him on the Tron. It was just like, okay. And then afterwards, Roman cut an awesome promo that ended really freaking awkwardly, where he was just like, all right, so tell me whose decision that was to put Kevin Owens against Jey Uso. Oh, it was your decision. All right, so here's another question. Whose decision was it to put the gauntlet match tonight? You think I can't decide my own opponents, huh? Because it was your decision, Adam. So that means someone's stupid here. So it must be saying I'm stupid. You see you shaking your head,
sir.
but
No, sir, you're not stupid.
And then he's just like, I see you saying no, but that must mean Adam Pearce is stupid. And Adam Pearce is like, no, I'm not stupid. And he's just like, oh, okay. So then Vince McMahon is stupid.
You got it that time.
Oh man, it just kept escalating, and then he was just like, wait a minute, and then he was just like, okay, so if none of them are stupid, then I guess that means you think I'm stupid. And then he was just like, I forgot how he ended it, but it was just so awkward of how he ended it. Does anyone have the exact line they said?
I don't remember how the line was. I just remember like.
Yeah, me neither.
I just remember he was saying something, and then he just
dropped the mic.
And then he just dropped the mic and walked out. And it seemed kind of incomplete, but the rest of the promo was really good. I guess he didn't really know how to end it.
Yeah.
Which I guess was fine.
Yeah, it was good. It was good. It was just abrupt ending.
I think.
Yeah.
I think what this segment tried to prove, and I think it did really well, was to show Roman Reigns' dominance over the entire show. How much more authority Roman Reigns has over the show, more so than the GM himself.
Yeah.
I think Roman.
Yeah.
He enticed Adam Pearce throughout the entire segment. He literally put him in a corner of disbelief because Adam Pearce couldn't even believe it himself, like how much more authority Roman had over him in that moment.
I guess.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. Then this ran way too long though, and it was very obvious that it did because what the next segment had no entrances.
Yeah, no entrances for Big E versus Apollo Crews for the Intercontinental Championship. So it starts off barely into the match. The Apollo hits a superplex. It was a nice superplex. Then he goes for a pin with his shoulders up, by the way. He gets a 3 count. clear as day in front of the cameraman.
Yeah, and this was awkward as well, which also shows that either this was planned or they. I don't know what the hell the botch was. Like, besides Apollo maybe lifting his shoulder up, but I think that might have been something towards Apollo. I have a theory on that, but I'll explain that once we're done with the match. What's it? The weird thing before we keep going about this was that in between this pinfall and the discussion afterwards, there was a commercial break.
Entire commercial break. Like, we're all just waiting to see what happened. And, like we're just having to sit through, like, a good 2 minutes of commercials.
It's like,
so stupid.
What were they doing in that meantime during the commercial break?
Just kind of sitting there. It's like, still arguing.
Well, yeah, I guess. But Hunter, you explain what else happened for the rest of the segment?
So they ended up doing a rematch, right? Because what happened? They Big E tried giving a fist bump to Apollo, and Apollo just slaps him. It's like, okay, I guess we're doing a rematch. It immediately starts. Big E just hits a crap ton of belly to bellies to him. But then
the
Apollo,
overhead suplexes, yeah.
Yeah. But then Apollo tries to make a comeback. He hits some cool stuff. He hits like a frog splash. He has a really good frog splash.
Apollo has a really good lot of things.
Yeah, he also does a good standing moonsault. He always does that, but it always looks great.
Yeah.
And he has some other stuff, Apollo stuff. But then the match ends with he ran up in the corner to do the frogs to do the stinger splash, and then gets caught. Uranagi, big ending for the win.
I personally think that they could have
gone a couple more minutes.
Not even got a couple more minutes. They probably could have because of the segment before, but I mean, that probably was the initial plan. But I think they could have spread this out months, 2 months of a feud, because they could have that whole match could have been they could have done the Rumble.
They could have had this kind of like the Styles and Ricochet feud.
Yeah, they could have had a draw at the Rumble, and then or they could have had Big E win the first match, and Apollo trains and he gets back to the contendership, and then they have a draw at the Chamber, and then things just kind of go downhill, and Apollo turns heel because Big E's trying to be yeah, whatever, I won, but respect to you, Apollo, because I didn't fully win, and then Apollo turns heel and wins the title at Mania, or Big E retains at Mania, and that's the end of the feud. They could spread this out a lot more. I'm interested to see what they do with this, because I think this was the starting seeds to a rivalry.
Yeah,
but I don't know.
The reason it makes me think they're going to continue this is because I don't know if you guys saw this, but they had a promo on Talking Smack with Paul Heyman and Apollo Crews. It was really good because he was trying to motivate Apollo Crews to not just be a nice guy to someone that you're friends with. Because if Big E were to go into your house, read stories to your kid, and sleep with your wife, would you just let him do it, or because he's your friend? And it's and he's just kind of sitting there looking at him. And then Paul Heyman's just you can't just let him do that because he's your friend and you respect him. It's your title opportunity or something like that. And I was hoping that means they're going to continue this and maybe even have Apollo be a heel. I think that'd be great.
That's what they're going for, because the end of the first segment of the match, it showed signs of Apollo turning heel with the slap.
Yeah.
And you could see his frustration. You're no, that was my win. My shoulder was up. But the camera didn't see that. But the camera did see his shoulder up. I don't know what they were on, but
what makes me not know if it was a botch or not, because when they come up with the replay, they showed the camera angle where he didn't see it.
I'm gonna say I think that wasn't a botch, so that way it motivates Apollo more to being yeah, he was right, and there's more reason for Apollo to be I was right.
I mean, if they put a story behind a botch, that's pretty good.
Yeah, because that's something that AEW would do, and I like that AEW would do that. Because they've done stuff like that before, where
Dark Order.
They kept Dark Order's momentum going, because their momentum skidded a lot from the hard cam showing the guy missing Dustin. And then they got it back by having the Exalted One, who was still, in hiding at that point. Identity wasn't confirmed yet. They had him be just taken out of the Dark Order, and they had a really good segment where they low key hinted to killing him, but
we don't talk about that.
Yeah, it was still really good. It was still really good to like make up for a botch. I hope that they realize that like this isn't lost and it can be like Apollo can be like, check that angle. Look, I was right. See, I deserve my rematch, and then he gets the rematch of the Rumble, and that's where he fully turns heel.
I
I
think
think that they can do that.
I think this botch also it can also like lead to a storyline of Apollo realizing over the years how he was undermined in this match to basically since his debut on the main roster, how much he was undermined as a main talent, how much he was under pushed or like not pushed at all to do better things on the roster, little to no title recognition whatsoever, little to no title, like no title matches at all, besides from his first year in on the main roster, and also in 2019 as United States champion, where they finally showed signs of pushing him. But then after that, after the draft, he was gone for like I don't know, like 2 months, and then
Didn't he have some title matches as a part of Titus Worldwide at the start? Didn't he have at least one?
He
I
it's
mean,
Chamber, I think.
Yeah,
No one
I
really cared though.
I remember that he did some things when he initially turned heel with that. I remember that. Like
but
I
then
remember they did
again,
a little more than him just turning on a Akira Tozawa.
He never
then,
turned on Curtis out.
then again,
Wasn't
he
that Akira? Who did he turn on?
I don't remember him turning heel.
he didn't turn heel at
Didn't
all.
he? Didn't he somewhat turn heel to join Titus Worldwide?
I mean, he was somewhat acting like a heel towards Kalisto, but like not really.
Oh, Kalisto, that's who he was kind of turning on. Akira was the only other guy in Titus Worldwide. I forgot about that. But yeah, I remember that because that was when Titus was the Titus Worldwide was kind of shifting from heel to face.
Yeah.
So yeah.
To
So
be
what I
fair,
think they could do is like have Apollo realize that he was just been accepting his low status for a while, and now he's actually taking the bigger opportunities and
Uh-huh.
pursuing them. But
Uh
regardless of that, I'm very interested to see where they go with.
yeah. Let's move on to the next segment.
So next up,
Um
we have Adam Pearce backstage. Then Sonya Deville shows up, and it's nice to see Sonya Deville. She kind of recommends being in a place of power, like a constable, an assistant. Hopefully not as bad as Baron Corbin was, but uh, maybe like be in a source of power for SmackDown. I feel like this might lead to her abusing that power, but currently tonight she actually acted more face with that
I
power.
I wrote down a little bit that like they should just have Sonya be
The manager.
SmackDown GM and
Have,
Pierce be Raw GM.
yeah.
Obviously, with the end of the night, that's not how things can go. But
Yeah.
they should have done that. That would be so much better.
Yeah. So that kind of happened, and then we have a our second title match of the night. This went down a bit better. My only problem, so it was Street Profits versus Ziggler and Rude. My only problem with this match was
Yeah,
Montez barely sold the knee injury he got like last week.
like I didn't even really watch SmackDown last week, and I kind of knew already though that he was injured badly from the Rude and Ziggler stuff.
Like he
And
didn't sell it until like the end of the match.
yeah,
to be
he
fair,
didn't sell it until like they attacked the leg. Then even then, he only sold it when they attacked the leg. He didn't sell it after, before, in entrance, when he's walking, whatever. He only sold it when it was like necessary to sell it. There was a point in the match where like they attacked Montez's leg a lot, and then then both of them were outside, and Montez was like, "Ah, my leg." Then he just acted like nothing was wrong, ran off the ropes, this tope suicina, and then went back to selling the leg. I was just like, okay, why would you do that? Why didn't you just like not do the tope? It's unnecessary if your leg hurts, you idiot.
okay.
Like
To be fair, what was your overall, both of you, your overall opinion of this match, besides the leg injury?
I thought it was a good match. Like they did
I
a lot
thought
of
it
good
was
stuff.
good.
Something
And,
okay about Montez, by the way. I
and
really like
I was
Montez. He's
I was
great,
gonna
but
add on
like
to
not selling the knee is something I don't like.
Yeah, I don't know if that's just a thing with Montez or whatever, but
Maybe
I
it's like
think
because he's so crazy So like his adrenaline is so much that like he didn't realize it at points.
I guess. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, like
I was gonna
besides
say
that, the match was fine.
I remember Rude hit a really good fisherman suplex.
that
Uh,
perfect that perfect plex he hit like beautifully. And also, I was gonna add on before to the leg injury. Do you think that the match would have been better overall if Montez Ford fully sold the leg injury and he had that moment like Xavier Woods did in Hell in a Cell 2017, where he's like the only if Dawkins was taken out and he was the only one in the ring and he had that moment of a comeback.
Yeah, that'd be fun. But
He
like
did
if
he did everything he could to retain the title, but in the end, to no prevail.
yeah, I think that might be nice as
I
long as he like
guess.
kept
I
the
don't
knee
know.
injury. But something I really like was the finish. I think this is the first time they've ever hit it, but Rude and Ziggler hit like a spinebuster zigzag combo, and I thought it looked really nice. Like Ziggler, for his tag teams not really being that great, he has some really good double team moves for them. Like the moves he did with Drew were great, and this is great
Yeah.
too.
I remember I remember that Claymore zigzag they used to do with Drew, which is really cool.
A more forgotten one he used to do with Drew actually, where he would go for the slingshot Drew does, where he like goes for the
Yeah.
Alabama Slam. There was one where we'd hang him outside the ring, like so he'd be in the ring and he'd hang him outside, and like Ziggler would be on the outside. He'd super kick him and then he'd do this. Great.
Yeah, I slightly remember that. They didn't do that as a
That often.
finisher as often,
They just did that as like a
but
move in the match.
yeah, they used to do because I mean, there's nothing topping a Claymore zigzag.
Yeah, that was a great move. So
Yeah.
this was a good match. It's nice to see Rude and Ziggler get the tag titles. Hopefully this means they are doing something with the tag titles and not just they're gonna have rematches with Super 6
I
months.
guess there's a little bit more story with it, despite the fact that that's all
Like
they
I'd
can
be
do.
fine now if they lost and then had another match, I wouldn't be happy. But like if them winning this and then having another match, I'm fine with because at least that makes sense because it's in a rematch for the titles.
But obviously, I don't know what the hell they're doing, but they're thinking of things, which I think is what they tried to convey with the next segment, which was that started with Sonya being like, "Oh man, that was a great tag match. You think Gable and Otis can be contenders next?"
like
like, because they're the only other team on the goddamn roster with like Cesaro
like
and Shinsuke.
like I love Gable as much as the next guy, but they
Roster is
did
so
nothing
anemic.
for the title shot.
The tag roster
Yeah.
is so anemic to the point where they don't have any tag teams to salvage in the tag title picture. It's like do call ups at
I
this.
don't know.
Who cares? Form new
I
tag
mean,
teams.
they probably can't do calls right now because of Dusty Rhodes Classic. They
Yeah.
probably do some after.
Maybe after the Dusty Rhodes Classic, then they'll do
Yeah.
call ups. But who knows?
Yeah.
But,
So yeah, they had that, and
so-
they also had in that same segment, I think Paul Heyman showed up and announced that he was going to be in the Gauntlet match.
Not Paul Heyman, Adam Pearce, by the way, clarification. So
Yeah. I don't think Paul Heyman was in the Gauntlet match.
Although he should be. He should be.
He should be. He would have won too.
He would have, obviously. Paul Heyman's a legend.
And
Japanese hardcore legend like Johnny Gargano.
Yep. Speaking of Johnny Gargano, the Riot Squad and Billy Kay were backstage.
And Johnny Gargano's one half of his favorite duo in all of WWE, Billy Kay, showed up.
I don't know how you save that. I was just trying to do that as like a thing, but like,
yeah,
can you save that? So basically, speaking of Gargano, Billy Kay was with Riot Squad, and she was trying to give them like their resume, and they actually took it.
And Liv was trying to let her down easy because she was trying to join the Riot Squad, and Billy started crying, and Liv having tears on her face was like, I feel sad. I don't want other people to cry. So she was just like, nah, it's okay. It's okay. And then Billy was like, great, I'm in the Riot Squad. I don't care what Ruby Riot said. she's in the Riot Squad.
It's embarrassing.
Yeah.
What do you mean embarrassing? That's
look,
great.
Something I think is I don't know why people hate on Billie Kay so much. She is
Billy's
just
so good. She's
she
so
is
good at
great at
everything.
what she does.
No, like why even split them up in the first place? Like, what were they thinking?
It was stupid, but Billie Kay is really making the most of it.
Yeah.
I
know,
really
I
like
know she
Billie Kay's
is.
characters.
I know she is, but I'm still baffled by the decision to have the Iconics split up. Yeah, that's what I meant to say to begin with. But the decision to have them split up to begin with and have them separated, not even have them separated from each other, but have them break up before the draft happened.
You see, I thought they were doing it.
No sense.
I thought they were doing it to push Peyton Royce, but then she did nothing.
Because usually, because everybody was thinking that Peyton Royce was going to do more, but honestly,
Vince,
I think
remember
Billie
Vince
Kay
said
just
on the
has
conference
that.
call, that he was going to push Peyton Royce and Billie Kay. I mean, no, Peyton Royce and Bianca Belair, and neither of them have really been showing it. Well, Bianca somewhat, but
Bianca a little bit. She was in a segment we forgot to mention with Bailey, which I guess is something because that's a everlasting rivalry.
At least Natalia's not in it anymore.
But yeah, Billie Kay, I don't know. I guess she just has that creative of a mind. I guess because I wouldn't be surprised if like most of the stuff the Iconics came up with were from Billie Kay at this point, because Billie has just been like really good at like coming up with stuff for her character, which is just like literally based around her giving people a resume and saying, "Hire me, please."
It started off with her just wanting to be a spy for SmackDown.
Yeah, and it just evolved and got better. And I love it.
And they actually added stuff to the resume.
Yeah.
Like creative, like had no idea, and then they're like, "Oh wait, now we have an idea." It's like we have no idea, and now we're going to give her random ideas to sprawl off from one to another, and that's the gimmick.
Yeah,
I'm fine with it. Until she gets hired to somewhere and she makes the most of it, I am good with it. I think this is this is somewhat like reminding me of Heath Slater. Remember when he was a free agent and he was just going to Raw and SmackDown? He was just like, "Hey guys, hire me."
Yeah, they were both really good.
I got kids. I don't give a shit about.
And then Billie Kay is gonna become women's tag team champions with Rhino.
Rhino.
I got kids too, man. Let's talk about your kids.
Oh,
I don't give a damn about your kids.
I don't give a.
So, anyways, after this was the Gauntlet match, which
Ooh. So this is a lot of ups and downs in this Gauntlet match. Let's kick it off. So it starts off Rey Mysterio, accompanied by Dominic Mysterio, versus Sami Zayn. He's got these like cameramen with him. It's like, oh, why has he got a cameraman with him? Oh, he's making a documentary. Boy, these unbiased journalists, documentarians, accompanying Sami Zayn to the ring, and I think Sami Zayn was like saying something to like one or two of them, and like then he gets 619 frog splash and loses in 17 seconds.
Yeah, I didn't really listen. I like Sammy's outrageous segments as much as the next guy, but like this was really like I don't really know how I felt about it. It was just because usually I like these stupid segments with Sammy, but this one was just I don't know.
I thought it was like legitimately funny.
I thought it was good.
It was like okay. Like I said a joke during it, like he should just come out with more and more people. Like they just add one more person every week.
Said like until the stage is just completely full.
Yeah.
It's like at this point, if they're not going to use Sami Zayn as more of a competitor, then they're going to use him for his mouth. What's better? What is Sammy better at doing than not wrestling? Being on promos, I think this documentary gimmick could go somewhere.
I'm gonna be really sad if it's just tonight.
Yeah, I don't know, because this really was just an expansion of what he's already been going with for the past like year, 2 years or so.
You can talk about AEW.
I think the reason why he didn't do at least in your point, he didn't do as well in this is maybe because he wasn't as motivated to do it, because back then he was like Intercontinental champion and he knew he was gonna still be Intercontinental champion, like cutting like good promos and stuff. This time he's like he knows he's gonna lose immediately.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know. And I guess it kind of screams to
I mean,
me like, oh,
even
nothing
trying,
more is coming out of this.
like even trying to make the best out of that, it's still you're not going to be the same because you're losing so quickly. Also, just gonna mention, this is not the first time that Sammy has lost incredibly quickly to Rey Mysterio in a gauntlet.
Yeah, you pointed that out earlier on Twitter. I saw that. I don't remember that gauntlet match at all, but apparently there was another gauntlet match where Sammy lost like really quickly to Rey Mysterio.
Literally, what happened was he beat I think Cesaro killed Rey, and like Rey's like kind of like trying to get up in the corner. Sammy goes for a hula kick, gets rolled up, and loses. And like God, he does not have good luck with
Uh,
Rey Mysterio in gauntlet match.
but
Next up, out comes Shinsuke Nakamura. I was not expecting much from him in this match. I thought that he was just gonna lose. You know?
yeah, and it's funny because Shinsuke was there for the rest of this match, and the rest of this match was really good until the end. Like
Yeah.
it really was Shinsuke Nakamura. Like it wasn't what whoever the hell this artist known as guy was. This is the king of strong style, the guy we knew in NXT who was there to just kick your ass. It didn't matter what the hell he said or
This is
whether or not he could say his promos accurately. It was a matter of that he can go in the ring and no matter what the hell you have to say, no matter what the hell you can do, he would just kick your teeth in, and he was great.
Yeah. So this is the first
to...
time. This is the first time it really felt like Shinsuke Nakamura in like a good 2 or 3 years.
The first time it felt like it was really Shinsuke. To me, first time it felt like it was Shinsuke Nakamura since 2017. Truthfully, it was the first time it felt like Shinsuke Nakamura.
Since he faced Cena. Since he faced Cena, I think.
Yeah, like
that before they fed him to hinder the Jinder Mahal.
Like I thought I would feel that way about Shinsuke again in the rivalry with AJ, but like literally since he got called up to the main roster, it was his debut and that match against Cena and tonight were the only times I felt like it was Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
Yeah, I felt like when the match he was in the match and he faced off against Corbin and he faced off against Mysterio. I felt okay, there's not going to be much for him. And then he beat Mysterio. Oh, okay. Then it'll lead to something else. Then he beat Corbin. Okay.
And something else to point out as well. I forgot to mention this when we were talking about Shinsuke. They showed a graphic on the screen when they came back from commercial between Shinsuke and Rey. And it showed all the people in the match, and it accidentally revealed almost to a T how everybody was getting eliminated. Because it went from Sammy to Rey to Corbin to Shinsuke to Bryan to Pierce.
The only difference was Bryan and
shit Shinsuke. Out of me. Yeah, the only change was Bryan and Shinsuke, which was really, really scaring me when it got up to there.
By the way, back to Shinsuke versus Rey.
Yeah, back to the real match. The match, like I said, really good.
Yeah, they did good stuff. So Shinsuke actually tapped out Rey. I was not expecting that actually.
Yeah, that was interesting too, because I don't think Shinsuke's ever tapped out anybody with the arm part before in WWE.
I'm fine with it though.
Shinsuke goes.
I'm fine with it.
Just like Shinsuke goes from tapping out to the first time to making someone tap out.
Yeah, I didn't think that he was gonna do that, and
then he faces Corbin.
Yeah, he went against Corbin.
I think is this how? Correct me if I'm wrong. Is this how the match ended? I think he was going for like the post clothesline where he runs around Kinshasa. Is that how?
Yeah, that's
cool.
how it happened. And honestly, I think this is the best work Corbin has done in. Wow, I don't even know. There was just so much bullshit that happened with Corbin for the longest time.
I know Corbin can go.
I've never been sour on Baron Corbin. Regardless of the Constable shit, I've always thought Corbin was a great wrestler.
Yeah, and he's good. It's just they've given him like bad stuff.
I don't think Corbin's ever missed a day, ever really, of wrestling.
He hasn't been injured. He hasn't.
He's always worked fairly safe.
Days off. Yeah. I mean, I think this is the best work Corbin has done since his match against Angle at Mania. I think this is the best thing he's done since that.
I think it's more fresh because you have the whole the Knights thing too.
Yeah, I guess.
Really building up that King character because it felt more obnoxious when he was just by himself.
Yeah, I don't know. I
He
kind of
seems more
like,
serious
and
now that people actually see him actually wrestling.
he might have gotten carried in this match as well a little bit, but still,
It was good. I still liked it. He played
yeah,
a good
he
heel in it.
put the decent effort in, and you know what? Anybody can look good against Shinsuke Nakamura. Personally, people said this about Shawn Michaels all the time, that Michaels can wrestle a broomstick. I think Shinsuke Nakamura can kick the head off a broomstick like he could kick the head off of anybody in the locker room.
It's
I've
just
never
sometimes Shinsuke doesn't try, but that's not against him. He knows his worth.
Yeah.
I've never felt this high on Shinsuke Nakamura. Like you said, since 2017. And also I haven't felt this way about a WWE superstar since last year's gauntlet match with Kingston, before Elimination Chamber. I honestly wanted Shinsuke to be the man to go on and win and face Roman at Royal Rumble. But regardless of the finish, I was praying that Adam Pearce would take the fall.
But
So
yeah, so there was oh yeah, I forgot to mention that before Corbin and Shinsuke fought as well. Corbin chokeslam did a really unsafe spot on the ring
Oh
where he chokeslammed
God!
into
He
the
chokeslammed him
turnbuckle.
into he chokeslammed him into the turnbuckle. His head just bounces off the top turnbuckle, and I was like,
I love
oh
how we went from being like, man, Corbin's such a safe worker.
man, to remembering that.
Yeah. um yeah, so Shinsuke
Um,
absolutely turned him freaking destroyed him with the Kinshasa too when he came back in the ring.
and then we
So
had Shinsuke Nakamura versus Daniel Bryan. Many people would say this is a dream match. The only other time
many
we got
people,
this was
I
on
think
a
this is the
throwaway.
definition of one.
Yeah, the only time we saw this was in a throwaway one match a year ago on SmackDown, and that wasn't really that great because it had all the interference and stuff. But this was really good.
They were given time. They were given the ability to do whatever the hell they wanted, and all Shinsuke had to do, the only limitation of Shinsuke is that he can't kick as hard to Bryan's head. That's the only limitations he had. And they freaking tore it down. I wouldn't be surprised if they really should have done this a while ago when Shinsuke was still heel.
They
I think
also had Shinsuke in the. I really like how they had Shinsuke in the lapel lock for an agonizing amount of time, and he still made it.
Yeah, and I don't know, they really this whole time went Bryan went for a full year as a face, or almost a full year as a face in 2018. And from the moment Bryan stepped back into the ring, Shinsuke was heel. So they really should have pulled the trigger on a Shinsuke Bryan feud at that point once Shinsuke was done with Styles. They should have done that, but
They
they
both
never
finished the feuds
did.
at the same time too.
Yeah, and man, I don't know. That was such a missed opportunity. And it really, and I think they could do it again, but they'd have to do something. They have to keep Shinsuke heel, or they have to turn Bryan heel. I don't think they can do either of that because Bryan's gonna be a part timer, and Shinsuke is I don't know. I think Shinsuke's got a perfect chance to turn face right now because after he faced Bryan,
If
they
they
had that
don't turn him
showing of
face,
respect.
it's a missed opportunity to not turn him face.
Yeah, he has so much momentum. Everybody's behind him. He had that moment of respect with Bryan that and I said this when it happened. It's very reminiscent of what happened between him and Sammy at Takeover Dallas. When Sammy was just after Sammy lost the Nakamura and Nakamura's debut, he just you just feel that energy, and you can feel that if there were crowds there, everybody would be cheering their heads off for Nakamura. And I don't know. After when Adam Pearce came out,
I was so
I just
sad. I'm like,
couldn't.
I knew what was gonna
my
happen,
soul,
and I
my
just did not want to
soul
believe it.
was crushed. My
This
body just dejected itself in
and
Or
pain.
part of me just kind of wanted to forget that Pierce was in the match, honestly.
I was hoping that they would too because they went on with Shinsuke Celebration after he beat Bryan for a while, and
Yeah.
they did the whole respect thing afterwards too. And then Adam Pearce came out. And it's just and
So like
I
they
don't
were
know.
doing this thing, and I was like, okay, so like they get in the ring and they start beating up Shinsuke, and I was like, no. And then like Adam Pearce gets in the ring, and then they super kick Pierce, and they give you that second. It's like, oh, maybe Shinsuke's gonna win. No, drag him on top of Shinsuke. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I remember what they should have done is that they should have had a draw and had Roman be like, no one can face me.
I thought it was a
And
draw for
then-
a second. I thought it was a draw for a second. Super kicked him, and then like the bell rang.
I
And they were
think
just both
what
down.
what they could do that's perfect, and it's sad for Kevin Owens, but they could do that would be perfect is Kevin Owens is on that verge again of being the face for WWE to save the company in a way. And I don't know. It's gonna have to be taken away from him again, and just like it was in 2019. It's sad, but really, I don't think anybody can beat Roman Reigns now that would get like the most positive reaction than Shinsuke Nakamura. I think Shinsuke Nakamura would be perfect to beat Roman Reigns now. And it's really sad again. Kevin Owens was the guy. Kevin Owens 100% was the guy.
He did everything to prove it too.
Yeah, and Kevin Owens was the guy like before the gauntlet match. You told me before any of the gauntlet match and before anything happened, I think I would have told you that Kevin Owens was gonna beat Roman Reigns for the title. He was gonna be the one to throw him. But after this match, there's no way they can have that happen. They have to have Shinsuke win now because I don't think it's gonna mean
I
as
really
much.
hope they have him win. I was happy to see the announcement like, oh, Shinsuke's gonna face Jey Uso next week.
I didn't even see that.
I mean, at this point, they can put Kevin Owens into a program.
I think what they have to do as well is for WrestleMania, whether we have crowds or not, that's when they should bring back Shinsuke's theme. His good theme. The original one they had in NXT. With the violin. They have to have the live playing too.
They have to have the dude there.
Yeah.
The dude who played it?
There's no way that... Because I think that's just perfect. It caps off a perfect run to bring back the Shinsuke Nakamura.
And if you really want to, you're gonna get Cesaro involved too. I mean, Cesaro's great.
Yeah,
You know?
I don't know what he'd do because he'd just be a stooge in the whole thing.
Well,
And
Jey
it's like-
Uso's there.
Jey Uso's there, but I think that the better match for Mania would be Jey Uso versus Kevin Owens. Because there's more to that than there would be to Cesaro and Jey.
I mean, the thing is, you've already done that match like 3 different times.
You have, but I think that there's a way that you can do it where, like, you could add a stipulation to it. I think at WrestleMania is when you add the stipulation to it.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and then after that, I guess we gotta find something to do with Kevin Owens because Kevin Owens is just, I don't know, he's too good to not give another title run to. And I think the best way to do it is by having him go to Raw or something and beat someone there. Because I don't know, I think that if you have him face Jey, you'd have to have the mutual respect between Kevin and Shinsuke unless you want to turn Kevin heel. Which I don't know.
Like Kevin's great as a heel, but like he is very over after.
And it's burning money to not have Kevin Owens win a championship as a face.
Like, I mean, sure. I mean, they could easily just do big multi-man ladder match for Big E's title and then have Owens win, but like,
Because
really
again,
the feel.
The amount of time that Kevin Owens has been a face since 2019, he has not won a single title as a face.
Yeah.
And I think that's a sin.
To be fair, he hasn't really won a title since 2017.
That's crazy.
To be fair.
Yeah. But,
it's
even
almost like, it's been like 3.5 years since he's won the title.
Yeah. I don't know. That's crazy. But again, I think that there's still they still have to do something with Kevin, because when during that time when he wasn't champion, he was in the best one, or at least one of the best storylines in the company at that point that were non-title, like the Shane
Yeah.
McMahon rivalry, when Daniel Bryan came back, him against Seth. Like, he did all these amazing things. I don't know. I think that speaks volumes to how good Kevin Owens is.
Well, back onto the show. So Adam Pearce wins. We got Adam Pearce versus Roman. I don't know if we're actually going to get Adam Pearce versus Roman, but that's what's announced. So if I have anything to go by, that's what's going to happen. Unless things change, I don't know.
If they choose to build this up, I think we need to look at Adam Pearce. Not who Adam Pearce is as a GM, but who Adam Pearce was as a wrestler.
Like, he wasn't that bad of a wrestler either.
You have to remember.
No, it wasn't.
You have to remember the fact he's still 42 years old. He's still young compared to most wrestlers now. He was a 5-time NWA World Heavyweight Champion. He was in Ring of Honor. I think he was in Impact. I don't know for how long though, but he was a legitimate competitor.
All right, so I guess then the SmackDown. What would you guys rate it out of 10? I guess Hunter, you can go first.
Let me think. Let's see. How would I rate SmackDown out of 10? I think I'll give it. Yes, I was reaffirming it in my head. I think I give it 7.5. Shinsuke Nakamura out of 10. So there's just like Shinsuke Nakamura there.
So, like, what half of him? Would it just be like his left side or like his upper half?
Never know.
Oh, interesting. So Donovan, what would you rate it?
I'd rate this show a look at the adjective out of 10.
I always love looking at